really happy and honored to have you. So, I think we'll actually leave it open for some people come in, come go out.
So, hello everyone. As you know, my name is Riman. I'm from East Jerusalem. I grew up here, and I've been more than 10 years working in peace building. And it always, why I'm doing this, why I have been doing this, goes back a while, since I was a child. I used to go to Schmitz Girls College in Jerusalem, right across from Damascus Gate. And with the start of the Intifada in 1986, 1987, it was a very strong, let's say, traumatic experience for me, going to that school in the height of the conflict. It was not like the conflict that we are having right now, actually. So this is, in a way, consoling that hopefully we won't be in that place again. It was a time when I would step out of the schoolyard, and there will be stone throwing, there will be soldiers, young men sort of standing at the wall with the soldiers pointing the guns at them. We'd really physically see blood on the street. The tear gas would enter the school building. So those are like live memories that I had from my childhood that made me feel that it can't be this way. There's something wrong. I want to live differently as a child. And also on the news, all the hatred that was fed from both sides. I didn't know any Israelis. The city was very much divided. Israelis on one side, Palestinians on one side, and all I could understand is that those people are my enemy. I should hate them. But this drove me really to question and search for a way to do something. Until later on, there were opportunities like the opportunity that was presented to Jonathan to meet Israelis and really listen to their stories. Actually, the first time I met Israelis, after I finished my high school, still staying with those questions, I went to Cairo, and this is where I studied English and comparative literature, and that was a way, for those who are interested in poetry and literature, that I sought to understand where do people come from, what are people's stories, what drives them to violence, what drives them to good things, and all those questions that I had with me. And then I returned, and it was my first time through a journalist exchange between Israelis and Palestinians that I really listened and heard. It was a time that was, now when I returned, it was the time when the second Intifada was happening, and all the suicide bombings and everything. And until then, it never occurred to me that the other side does suffer. And listening to the other story and understanding that also the Jewish people have a long history of, let's say, a fear, not over the years from the Holocaust, etc., and that this is like real. And being in this region, and also for me being in Cairo, and being someone who has met Israelis. Somehow, not face to face, but in the streets and everything, I know it's not that bad. And in Cairo, on the streets, like I would see all these protests going on against Israel and everything, And that was a little bit a place where I had to take distance and try to comprehend. And so I returned, and this was the start. I decided to work in organizations that worked for peace, and I just continued doing that every time. And all the jobs that I've had to reach out to the other side. So I've worked at IPCRI before I became co-director. I worked with various other Palestinian organizations that did dialogue with Israeli organizations. And today I feel like I'm also like involved in larger, bigger initiatives. Like, for example, I'm co-director of IPCRI, but also I'm executive director for something called Breaking the Impasse, which is an initiative of business leaders from both sides. And sort of I'm involved in various other smaller projects that are involving youth. And the interesting thing for me, but it's also like a bit disappointing, that on so many of those higher level initiatives, people have been losing hope, and everybody gets again brought to the same vicious circle, and sort of stops the dialogue, stops wanting to talk to the other side. More divisions are created, and today when Jonathan, not today, but when he approached me for this project, I was like, okay, I have no hesitation. Let's do it. Especially in this time for Jerusalem, for me there is no option but to continue to talk and engage with each other, listen to each other, because there are so many good people from both sides, and I see it because I work on both sides. I'm half of my day in Ramallah and half of my day in Jerusalem, and then other times I'm in Tel Aviv and all over Israel, and I see people and I hear them, and I think ultimately we do want the same thing. We do want a peaceful future, but as Jonathan also highlighted before, it's the fear that keeps us from engaging, in IPCRI, we've been like, before the last war, we've been filling up buses of Israelis and offering the opportunity to go to Ramallah, to Nablus, not to Nablus yet, to Ramallah, Bethlehem, Jericho. We were planning to see Nablus, and every time the experience is so amazing, seeing the faces once they cross to the other side, that it's, after all, it's safe. People are friendly. People are people. They want to live their life. They want to live their life peacefully, and it's important for us to remember this and not to lose the hope and keep continuing. So I think that's it for now as an introduction for today. Maybe in future times we can be more focused and talk about more specific issues. But thank you very much for being here, and thank you, Jonathan, and everybody else.
So I actually didn't have enough of you, Riman.
Yes.
This is not enough. Riman, what I love to do is I love to promise myself and us as a group that we're going to have better and longer sessions with you, where we can actually. I have so many questions to ask you as an Israeli, and I'd love to engage in a discussion with you in the future and just hear how your perspective evolved and how it changed. So this will happen. Currently, what I'd love to do is I'd love to take the possibility to break into two groups. One group will remain in this room, and we will stay here with Karim and with Hosna, and we will learn about Frisbee as a tool for peace. And the other group will be in the other room, which is just across the hall, in an activity with our 3 friends here, led by Max. And in this activity, they'll be speaking about poetry. So, Max, would you be able to do a short introduction here, standing here, about what we'll be doing?
Yeah, we'd be happy to have anyone who's interested join us to have a discussion about poetry. I'm joined by my friends Ahmed and Sam. Ahmed is a Palestinian artist, a visual artist. You can give a, actually, maybe if you want to introduce yourself in more detail.